am Philip G. Zimbardo, social psychologist, and today we'll be showing a reenactment of my Stanford prison experiment. The purpose of the experiment was to study the effects of social roles on conformity. The plan was to simulate a prison environment in which we would observe the behavior of volunteers playing the roles of guards and prisoners. We began the experiment by placing an ad in the local paper. After carefully interviewing and testing the 70 applicants that we received, we eliminated any with psychological disorders. We were ultimately left with 24 college students. We then randomly assigned half to the role of prisoner and half to guard. The first step was to set up our prison. In order to make the experiment as realistic as possible, we set up an interview with an ex-con.
What were the cells like?
They were very small and isolated. We shared a cell with 2 other prisoners, and all we had in the cell were mattresses.
How did the guards treat you?
Pretty strict and aggressive. They would punish us for the smallest things. Punishments usually included physical activities like push-ups or solitary confinement.
How does life in prison differ from the outside world?
In prison, everything you do is watched. The guards are constantly ordering you around. There's no freedom or privacy. Whether it's the guards or fellow inmates, there's no place where you can be alone. The guards scrutinize your every move and treat you unfairly.
To begin the experiment, we sent cops to each prisoner's home to arrest them.
Ma'am, you are under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do will be used against you in court.
Once taken to the prison, each prisoner is stripped and given new uniforms. The point was to make them feel humiliated and degraded. They were dressed in all white and given a number in place of their name. In the actual experiment, all the guards were all khaki, but for our reenactment, and because we actually have a sense of style, our guards are wearing all black. Each guard was equipped with a billy club, and they were required to wear dark sunglasses in order to promote de-individuation and disconnect between them and the prisoners.
Day 1 began the process of each volunteer figuring out their roles. Prisoners became restless and uncomfortable as they got used to their new environment.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I'm talking to you. You know? Like buddies. What if I didn't do it and another person did? And then you idiot. I said when I grow up. You are grown up.
The guards became more aggressive as they began to conform into their new position of power. The guards were never given specific instructions, only to control the prisoners how they saw fit. They quickly took to punishing the prisoners. For example, they had them do push-ups or put them in solitary confinement.
Drop down! You're doing push-ups.
No?
This is your punishment. More! This isn't girl time.
Oh, sorry.
The study rapidly got out of hand as the prisoners took their abuse to heart and rebelled the morning of day 2. They put their mattresses against the cell wall and screamed at the prison guards.
We don't deserve this!
I wanna go home.
What do you think you're doing to us? We don't deserve this! Let us out! Let us out!
No, we can't say
Be
that.
quiet!
Go away!
Be good!
No! Let us out!
Stop!
Let us out!
The leaders of the rebellion were thrown in solitary confinement. Here they were without food, water, or sunlight for several hours.
Let's go! Go in there! You're solitary confinement.
This is where it became apparent that the treatment of the prisoners was rather unethical.
The prisoners' mental health began to deteriorate. One prisoner in particular, number 8612, was especially impacted. He had an emotional breakdown, followed by disorganized thoughts and uncontrollable crying and rage. Myself and my colleagues realized that the experiment was having a severe influence on the participant, so we released him.
Let's go. Let's go. We're going home. Goodbye.
Unfortunately, the rest of the participants began having similar reactions to the study, and so after only 6 days, the experiment was officially shut down. What was meant to be an ethical experiment to study the effects of social rules on conformity had taken a turn for the worse, and we had to draw the line there.
I began to lose my identity inside that cell. The person who volunteered to be in the experiment wasn't me anymore. I became my number, this helpless, frightened prisoner. And that's what it was, a prison. It never felt like an experiment because it was all so real. There is nothing quite so scary as the prospect of losing yourself. The longer I was there, the more I became a prisoner. And the more guards punished me, the more I believed it. I believed I deserved it. I couldn't distinguish between who I was and who I was expected to be.
I had really thought that I was incapable of this type of behavior. I'm shocked that I could act in a way that's so far from my own morals. And while I was in the experiment, I didn't feel any regret or remorse. When I put on that khaki shirt and those pants, it made me go into a different place. It really changed me, and when I came out of it, I saw myself as a different person, and it didn't affect me as I thought it would. Oh, and by the way, sorry for making you do all those push-ups. It got over me, you know.